Yes, it's still the bumper breakfast, and things you must know before you're 25. Dr. Precious, there are certain things that every 25-year-old must know. You know, when we were brainstorming about this yesterday, we kept having the argument of, okay, maybe we should do 18, maybe we should do 25. But I think it just covers everyone who is looking at ending their teens, going towards their 20s, and then hitting the middle of the 20s. What are the major things that you think they must know?
You know, speaking from the words of Dr. Miles Morio, he hosted a conference of world-renowned leaders, presidents of nations, leaders of conglomerates, and there he spoke about the things he hoped to achieve before the age of 26, and he actually achieved 2/3 of them. And I'm going to talk about some of those things. Number one, he spoke about having a degree before that age. It's very important to give you a leverage. They say a man's life is controlled by a piece of paper, and the value from that piece of paper is dependent on what you can do for yourself. So if that paper gives you an opportunity, you need to take it to the next level to become much more better than you are. And that's why going the extra mile is important. It's not enough to be a graduate, but what is that graduate able to do? You see some...
the value that the piece of paper brings to you.
Exactly.
And that you are too.
So you see some people have actually gone to school, but the school has not gone through them. So you find them talking as a graduate, and you're wondering, which school did this one graduate
from?
So
it's just a paper.
It's just a paper with no value. And that's so important. Number two, the skills of life, you need to have absorbed them before the age of 25. You must understand that the youthful stage is the useful stage. Can I come again? The youthful stage is the useful stage. If you're not useful at your youth, I'm telling you, you're working towards uselessness. And you need to harness that capacity to make do with gleaning some more knowledge. How to jumpstart a battery, how to plow the lawn, how to perform a laundry, how to iron perfectly. These are things that you will actually, they're basic
actually
things.
life lessons, you know,
Yes.
that you just ignore most times. You think they're not important.
My mom used to say something. She was a lecturer at university. She used to say something. She says, if a fish is fresh, you can bend it anyhow you want. 360.
Dry.
Yeah, but when it's dry, you can't bend it. By the time you start going past 25 without harnessing these basic skills, I'm telling you, it will be so difficult to catch up. So that's why it's really important.
So you're saying right now
much.
that there are some lessons that are difficult to learn after the age of 25.
Yes, that will look burdensome after that age. And that's why if you follow my YouTube channel very well, you see I've done talks on this. I've spoken about things you should do before the age of 20, things you should know before the age of 25, 30. I actually stopped at 40 because a fool at 40, they say, is a fool forever. So I stopped at 40. That's a benchmark. And after 40, you are, as a matter of fact, I don't want to say after 40 you are responsible for your life. The moment you become an adolescent from the age of 18, you're responsible for your life and
for charting the course
of
your life.
What I usually tell parents is that when you give birth to a child, recognize there are 3 stages in life. The first stage is about you. Okay, the child has no say. That child is infinitesimal. That child is small. The child cannot say nothing. It's what you tell the child will do. The second stage is you and the child. You say, do this. The child will say, Mommy, why? The child is...
Unfortunately, that one has come very fast now.
Yeah, we're in the jet age.
Because usually it used to be in your early teens when you ask questions like that.
Very true.
Now, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds ask you, Mommy, why?
Very true. And then a time comes where it's about them. So you are no longer in the labor market.
As a matter of
they
fact,
are now out there.
They are no longer relevant.
So they are now there. They do whatever they want to do. They don't call you before going to church. They just go. They don't call you before going to the club. They just go. Now, this is my point. The care they will give you is dependent on the value you impacted on them while they were under you. So if you mismanage their destiny while they were under your claws, I'm telling you, they are going to turn out to become a burden to you. That's why I tell parents, if you pamper your children, they will tamper with your future tomorrow. You see that? So basically, we need to know these things as we approach 25. I can't imagine a guy of 25 who is driving a car and he doesn't know how to change tires. I drive an SUV, and as big as it is, I can still change the tire.
Why won't you change your tire?
Do you want to put me on the spot right now?
No, but I'm really asking the question. I mean, why won't you change your tire?
I was actually planning to surprise you, but with what you've said, it's cancelled.
But even me.
There's
I
a
changed my
curfew
tire.
in our relationship right now.
Yeah, I agree. Because sincerely, I had to change my tire. So
Can we go back to our topic, please?
No, but really, I talk about these things because
Okay.
another thing that is peculiar when you're talking about something like this is
Okay.
people now begin to separate sexes. They tell you, oh, what if you're a girl? It's different. What if you're a boy? It's totally different. Is it?
You see, practically, yes. You know
I
why?
mean, are these lessons things you must
No,
know?
these lessons are applicable to everyone,
Are they different? Do they differ if you
from
girl
guy to lady.
to lady?
Now, let me pay your indulgence on this, Tomisi. You see, sometimes they do, but these lessons I'm talking about right now cuts across board. Okay? But when I say sometimes they do, it's because application may differ. You see, when a lady starts maturing, there are signs, there are things she needs to be acquainted with. That's why I really don't find it funny where parents, in a situation whereby parents will have daughters and they are unable to give sex education to the daughters. There is a story trending right now on social media of a mother in Ibadan that flogged the daughter mercilessly because she found the daughter standing with a guy and talking, and she beat the hell out of the lady or out of the girl. We have passed that stage. If you find your daughter with a boy outside,
If I
take
sound very
her
funny.
in, explain to her, let her understand.
But that's what they told us. You beat them mercilessly. They
You
will
see,
remember.
now they told us, you see, you come, you start with a guy, you go out with a guy, you are pregnant. But that's not it. That's not it. You're actually breeding an evil mentality on that girl child, and that's why you find some female children, they have a dependent mentality. I'm gonna break this table right now. I'm about to break a table. You hear people saying dating Nigerian girls is like dating an orphan. They call the guy in the morning, I want to do my hair. They call him in the afternoon, I need recharge card. They have this dependent mentality. It actually emanated from the foundation. So you keep putting things in them, so they feel if it touches me,
But
you
they
must do
help them
this.
to take every decision, and where their parents are, where they're dependent on their parents for practically every decision.
And it affects the mind.
You're for sure.
So we really need to change the narrative, and that's what I'm saying to everyone out there. If you have your kids approaching, like my father was one very tough father. He will tell you, at this age, if you're not making impact, I'll chase you out of my house. My dad will literally call us and say, this house I have built is not for you, it's for me and my wife. Nothing here belongs to you. My dad made it a national anthem. So when I came into the country and I went to build my house, I became comfortable and happy, and I called it Precious Villa. Yeah, this is mine. My dad's own is not mine. I have no business there.
Because
I can only go visit. Because he had told
you
us,
from the very beginning that you have no business.
and he's listening to me right now. He had told us from the foundation, this house belongs to me,
But you
him
see,
and his wife.
Now, but you see, that's the mentality of a man who is schooled in the school of life and found it very necessary to give lessons. Remember the time when we're talking on the hard conversations about inheritance?
Yeah, I remember.
And it comes to the point where you find the boys in the house, especially from where we come from, who come up with things like they don't need to do so much because their parents have so much, so they know that they're going to inherit the business, they're going to inherit the property. And then I hear somebody say to us on TV that day, if I can remember, the man said, the house I'm building is for my son. The house I built is for my son, not for my daughter. If I have more money, I could build my daughter a house, but it's not for my daughter, it's for my son. And I'm talking about a man whose daughter and son is still under the age of 10.
No.
So you see the mentality I'm talking about. You don't teach independence to a child by giving them a sense of entitlement from when they're little.
True.
So you find out that you train boys, because I find out that quite a number of boys are so it's more common. What you actually think is common among the girls who are dependent is actually more common among the boys today.
True.
You find a lot of boys who are largely dependent either on friends, family, parents. They find it very they call it tying them to the apron string of their mothers.
Very true. And then they blame everybody for their stupidity.
Everybody's at fault.
And I always like to say that you are not yet a failure until you find someone to blame. So when you keep blaming people for your shortcomings and your predicaments, then I'm telling you, you have made yourself a failure. It's important you recognize that you are responsible for the outcome of your life. You are totally responsible.
Or your misfortune,
yes,
whatever it is.
Wherever you find yourself in life, you're responsible. There is a level you get to where you can say, my father did not send me to school. But there's another level where you get to when life hits you, you will understand that you can actually grind and get to that school if you need to. Or you go learn a trade. It takes discipline to understand where you want to be in life and get there. I'm reminded of the story of the security guard in a bank. I don't know if you remember that story.
Yeah, I do.
He was a security guard in a bank with a secondary school certificate, and he started sponsoring himself, doing a part-time course, and he moved from being the security man to becoming a cashier staff of the bank. And he's a celebrated banker today in Lagos. Why? He took his destiny in his hands and went for it. We need to destroy that mentality of what my parents have to offer. One time President of America would say, stop thinking about what America would do for you, but start thinking of what you would do for America. And that's the mentality we need to inculcate in this generation. Before you get to the age of 25, you need to understand these basic things. You need to have this mentality of, I am solely responsible for my life.
No, you know what I even say to people, when I mentor people now, I tell them, you're liking yourself to a country.
True.
Because you see, when the Bible, well, pardon me for those who are not Christians, was saying that a little one shall become
1,000, and a strong one shall become
a small one
shall
nation. Become a strong nation. One person is capable of creating a nation.
True.
So if you see yourself from that perspective, I'm sure that Dangote wasn't seeing himself as one single person who is responsible solely for himself, and he didn't have the I and myself mentality.
True.
He must have had the continent mindset.
True. And Tommy saying, I love where you're coming from, and that's why when we have conversations like this, I try to put a disclaimer at the end, telling people, if you're here to just get married and have a corner piece in a one-room self-contained and just manage life and go by, we're not talking to you. If you're here to just look for a girl, impregnate her, put her at the back of your house and manage in your father's room, we're not here for you. But if you're here to leave a legacy, to change the course of time and your generation, then we're talking to you.
You are the kind of audience that we're talking to.
Exactly.
Because if you look at the mentality, a lot of us desire to speak to or to become great people.
True.
You know, we admire them. We want to be like them. Everybody wants to be a Tenola. Everyone wants to be Dangote. Everyone wants to be an Lumelu. Everyone wants to be an Lakija. Everyone wants to be an Esther Ajayi. Everybody's just thinking big. You're thinking about the money.
Very true.
You all think about Obama. So last week I sat down to read the story of Obama's mother. And I saw that at a young age, Obama left his mother in another country, went back to the United States to go forge a future for himself. The parents were there. He went back to live with his grandparents. And the young boy kept working. I saw that it was coming from a family where people are goal-getters. Everybody is a goal-getter. So you're not permitted to dilly-dally. You're not permitted to take life with levity. Because you are coming from a family where everybody takes life seriously. By adventure, you are the odd one out. who takes everything with levity. That means you have decided from the very beginning to be a burden to your siblings and your parents who don't take things with levity, who don't take life, with
kids gloves. Yeah.
So you must go through life, with that mentality of, it's about me. If I'm not able to do it for me, nobody is going to do it for me.
Yeah, and Tomlinson, let me be very realistic here. I really need people to understand this. You see, we're not trying to tell you that you need to be a Dangote at the age of 25. We're not Jack Ma. I could take you through Jack Ma's story. It was actually worth nothing at 25. But right now, he's a multi-billionaire.
Very true.
You see, we're not saying that you need to be an overnight success at the age of 25.
Which is what they now go for.
That's social media kind of...
fake life.
Yeah.
Propagated on social media.
The propaganda
you can just become rich overnight.
Things. Exactly. And that's totally wrong. This is what I tell people. Follow the process so you can enjoy the proceeds.
You must understand that there is a process.
There's a process. If you forget, if you ignore the process, if you miss the process, you can't get the produce. You can't get the proceeds. Like Zig Ziglar will say, there is no corner in history. You need to follow the process.
Very true.
And it's the process that helps you to get to where you need to get to in destiny. And life is a journey.
Let me paint a very small scenario. We have 1 minute to end the segment, but let me paint a very small scenario. Imagine that your father gave you a piece of land.
Okay.
And you have the piece of land. You've always had that piece of land. Okay. Now, land appreciates. Did you say so?
Sure.
Now, you've done nothing with the land. Over time, you just keep telling yourself, oh, I have a piece of land. Now, you have a brother who did not get a piece of land. Maybe a friend, a cousin, a neighbor, rented a piece of land, leased a piece of land for whatever means, or borrowed a piece of land. Now decided to start tilling the ground, put plants in the ground, sowed a seed into the ground, watched it grow, okay? Sold the produce, planted much more, wobbled and failed, all of his crops failed. You were still looking and waiting every day and doing maybe 10,000 naira, say, I have a piece of land. It's going to appreciate one day. It will become 3 million naira. Or when it becomes 3 million, I'll sell it. And then it never becomes 3 million. And this young man begins to, from a borrowed piece of land, makes 3 million naira in 1 year. By the time that young man becomes a millionaire and buys other people's land, your land is going to be the only one left
Very true.
Because you have refused to till the ground from the very beginning. You refused to put anything into the soil. So your land is going to be fallow. It's just going to be there. And land appreciates true in value when you want to sell it. But do you know that the land can actually give you lots more than the money that you're going to sell it?
Very true.
You could have made money over time
from that land.
And make enough to actually cater for that amount you would have gotten when you sell it.
You're very correct, Tommy.
But no, we don't do that. See, you know what we wait for? We wait for the big money. So every young person is thinking, so I have some people in my area that were thinking of selling their father's house. For everything they've ever done, they're just thinking of selling their father's house. They're waiting
so that they can share the big money.
So
and that's the African mentality, mutual impoverishment.
You get it? So they have 2 houses that their father left for them. So they sold one for about 70 million.
Whoa.
So when they sold 70 million, all of them shared it. And then all of them are living in the one that is left. I mean, all of the children, all of them, wife, children, living in the one that is left. You know what they now did? They are now giving each other quick notice that they want to sell this one that is left. Now imagine what would have happened when they got the first 70 million. Imagine they had invested into a business, started a family business or something. Since they live together,
they would have actually bought more because they are not paying rent.
They won't be selling.
True.
The other property.
Wisdom is actually lacking there. And Tommy, before you shut down this conversation, I won't forgive myself if I don't say this. You see, before the age of 25, you need to develop relationships. You need to develop your circle. Because you are a product of the people that you hang around. If you work with 5 foolish people, you become number 6. If you work with 5 wise people, you become number 6. So it's really important you form great people around you. When I tell you this person is my friend, there is capacity, there is tenacity, there is wisdom, there is value. But if I tell you I'm not friends with this person, it's because of what I have seen in myself that I can't see in this person. You need to find those things and find those people at that time. Is my friend, is my friend. That's the time you build it. Okay.
And then you build good friends. But like we close, don't go looking for rich people's kids and make them friends because of what you want to collect from them. I just need to end with that. All right, it's Hard Conversations, but I need to take this quick commercial break. When I return from this commercial break, we're looking at Hard Conversations, and today's on.
How much? It's too much
Oh, my.
to spend.